Hello and welcome to the BDAchat podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything from the world of marketing, and what a busy world it is. I'm joined today by David Knowles. He's returning back. How are you, David?
I'm very well, thank you.
And a regular on the sofa, Camilla Smith.
Hello, hi.
Brilliant. It's BDAchat episode 37, people.
I can't believe it's 37.
Time flies when you're having fun on the podcast.
Oh my goodness. You're
Doesn't
such a
it
radio
just?
DJ.
Putting on my radio voice. Today, we're talking about marketing in the insurance industry. And, we've picked this because I think people have a lot of preconceptions about the insurance industry. When I say the insurance industry to you guys, anything spring to mind? What's your natural reaction?
It feels quite archaic.
Yeah, a bit of a must-have, not an I want.
Must have, not an I want. A little bit grey. So the whole reason we're doing this is because actually the whole industry is seeing quite a shift, and it's being driven by a lot of new technologies and disruptors in the B2C market, but that's also having an effect on B2B. So what we've done as a team, we've kind of, we've been looking and collecting examples that we want to share with you and some things that we want to discuss. And we might even talk about some of the challenges facing the insurance industry and showing you what some of the companies are doing to overcome it. So that's the prelude. We have the TV behind us, so if you're listening in, we'll try and describe what we're showing. But if you're watching on video, obviously we'll be referring to some visual elements on here. And who wants to get us started? I mean, at the moment, what are the challenges facing the insurance industry?
Well, I think there's just a lot of choice. There's a lot of new entrants on the market who are trying to change up the way that insurance is provided or the type of insurance that you can get.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where you need to have some sort of long-term insurance policy, where now you can get insurance for cars, for example, that is for an hour.
Yeah, almost pay as you go.
Pay as you go insurance.
Yeah.
I think also with the likes of some of the insurance, talking cars again, where actually
Talking cars like Knight Rider.
Talking
to the beach matter.
about car insurance.
Oh, okay,
still.
sorry.
Apps like Shotgun,
Yeah.
whereby the app records your driving skill. And
so the speed you're doing,
yeah, absolutely,
the routes you're taking,
yeah,
I presume.
Exactly, all of that sort of stuff, so that it can ensure that you're driving safely.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of ways that insurance is using technology to provide it better, more accurately, reward those who are being less risky.
Yeah, and the model they're calling it is the usage-based insurance. I can't say it, it's easy for me with the list, but UBI, basically,
Yeah.
usage-based insurance. So for cars, how you're driving, the routes you're taking, how well you drive affects your premiums. The same we're seeing similar in the health industry with, is it Vitality?
Yeah.
Vitality very much, and incentivizing you to be healthy, be fit, keep your premiums low, a bit of gamification chucked in there because you can see how you're performing against your targets. So we're seeing a lot of these shifts with this abundance of data.
Well, and then rewards for
and
when
rewards.
you do it. Like, for example, with Vitality, you can get cinema tickets and coffee and all sorts of other
Discounts from gyms.
Yeah.
There's lots of tie-ins, like affiliate kind of tie-ins together, which is great, and that's what people want. A few people here actually use Vitality.
Yeah,
don't
they do.
Because we've got quite a fit bunch. At
Yeah,
BDAchat.
David, do you use Vitality?
No.
You're missing a trick because you are Mr. Fitness himself. David works out 17 times a day.
And the rest.
But no, surely you're missing a trick. And surely you like that challenge.
Probably. Yes, there is that. However, do I want to
What
be
puts
tracked?
you off it then?
Do I want to be tracked all the time?
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Privacy?
it's all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
For me,
You feel uncomfortable with?
yeah, I would guess so. Although I've not done it, so I probably would get quite hooked to it, because then the data would be interesting, and
Yeah.
I'd be wanting
You
to
should
try and
probably
beat
do it.
yesterday's score or.
You'd pay nothing on your insurance.
Going back to
well.
that whole thing about providing your data, I saw a stat the other day which was 85% of people surveyed are more willing to provide more data
Yeah,
to
I read
insurance
that.
companies
Yeah.
in terms of getting cheaper premiums if they're incentivized by rewards or cheaper premiums. So again, this is going back to that usage base. I'm willing to tell you that I go to the gym and you can track my movements if I think I'm going to get things cheaper. So there is this shift coming, I think, where people are more willing to give up. And it's not personal data as such. It's not your name, address, and where you. Well, I suppose it is tied into that, but it is more about actually how active you are against your account. So again, it's interesting.
Yeah, and it's so that, you know, people like Vitality can look at the risk of insuring you, how fit are you, how healthy are you? Well, the more healthy you are, the less risky you are. So probability is they have to pay out less to those fit and healthy people. So it's a win-win,
Yeah.
And I think the industry is becoming a little bit more transparent, which is really good.
Yeah, because it's
Through
always
apps and data, and you can track everything.
Look,
and it was always cloak and dagger before. It was very much the man in the suit sat in the office, the broker kind of brokering a deal for your insurance, lots of paperwork, streams and streams of paper.
Quick and easy, almost not quick and easy, but relatively straightforward to sign up for insurance. But if you're making a claim, oh my goodness, you go into that interview scenario, and you almost have to. You feel like you're the criminal when you're making the claim, or you're not the victim, like you're the perpetrator sometimes.
And we've got a few adverts to show that kind of communicate that quite well and talk
these
about
are a lot
that.
of the preconceptions, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think that associated with it. But again, from what we're seeing a shift. There's a number of broken industries out there. I'm not saying insurance is one by any means, but it has a perception, and it's good to see so many new entrants and such a shift coming. And I think there are a few examples.
Yeah, and I think as well, just to quickly add, I think that in the olden days, I love that saying, but if you have something that's quite specialist that you want to insure, then it would make sense. So when you get a mortgage, for example, you would go to a broker because you want to see lots of different mortgages. And that makes sense. And sometimes with insurance, if you've got something, I don't know, jewellery or something like art, or then I completely get why you'd want to go and broker that out, because it's not like health insurance, it's not like home insurance or car insurance. And those are almost commodity kind of insurers compared to the more bespoke insurers. So there's still a need for both. But the usual B2C, home insurance, car insurance, life insurance is changing a lot, but there is still that need for that traditional model to a degree, I think, still.
But then I think business insurance is changing as well. You can insure invoices now.
What?
A single invoice to make sure if it doesn't get paid because a company
I've
goes,
heard about this.
I've never heard of this.
Bust and stuff, then you can make sure that you're actually going to get paid for that debt.
Okay.
And the longer it's left, I think you get paid something like that.
Yeah, it's all based on the credit history of the company, the credit score of that particular
Never heard of
company.
this.
That's called Nimbler. But and then there's also the business insurances. There's a lot of mobile workers now. So there's insurance from a company called In My Bag, which actually enables mobile workers to insure their mobile devices, so that laptops, mobile phones, iPads, etc., in case they get lost or damaged or stolen or whatever might happen to them, to ensure that they can continue with their business, which used to be quite difficult to do. So, and this is just it's an online system. Select from a drop-down list, and all of a sudden you're insured for those devices. I think there is just so much that is changing, that technology is enabling change, like the Internet of Things, and how you've connected homes with your fire alarm system, or smoke alarm systems, or entry systems, which now can be covered.
Because I think it's a really interesting point, because I think a lot of the challenges that are facing the insurance industry are also huge opportunities. So like you were saying there, a challenge for a lot of insurance companies will be actually this abundance of data, connected homes, connected offices, connected cars, connected toasters, for goodness sake. So it's how you process all that data. But if you are able to kind of leverage that data, process it, store it, and use it to offer, different products, more accurate underwriting, then there's real opportunity there in the insurance industry. So, I think why we see these challenges, like you're saying there, these are tremendous times of change in the way humans are behaving through tech. And I think tech is driving a lot of this change.
Well, I think also it's enabling the processing. The claim process was always the bit that people would find very difficult. And I know you've got an example of one where it's like, do you want to show some stuff?
Yeah,
here we go.
So this is Lemonade. So they're big in the US, and they've used AI basically. It's just a little bit of a case study. There was this chap over in America who had a claim, and it was handled through the app in 3 seconds. As in, he had to describe what the claim was, put all his details in, but it took 3 seconds for his bank account to receive
That's crazy.
The money from the insurance company to cover his loss.
So this is something I've looked into, because obviously at BDA we have a very keen interest here in developing our chatbot proposition. So it's something that we kind of looked to for how it was working in the insurance industry. in those 3 seconds, this artificial intelligence, this bot went off, and I think it did 12 algorithm checks to make sure this wasn't a fraudulent claim. So within 3 seconds, not only is it checking all these algorithms to make sure it isn't fraudulent, but it's also then going off, checking your policy and your details to make sure it all marries up, and then within 3 seconds it also knows your bank details and it was paid.
All
3
that
seconds.
all that bit, is done.
Got that headache.
Yeah.
The filling in forms, the numerous phone calls.
I think they pride themselves that in under 90 seconds or maybe under 3 minutes, I need to check that you can literally have a bespoke insurance quote all kind of signed off and done.
That's the thing. And we're seeing lots of examples of that. Quick quotations. There's a home insurance, which I think is in this deck as well, that has, I don't know if I removed it actually.
No.
That one above it?
Yeah, I got it.
That's it. So
Home
Home
Life,
Life, that's an app. And quick, simple home insurance in 4 minutes. So that's how quickly you can
in 4 minutes.
You can get all your paperwork and everything done in 4 minutes. That's it. It's finished. You've got your quote, and it's just ready to go. So that's what people are beginning to expect now.
And this is it's that. It's exactly that. It's that cultural shift we're seeing, not just in this industry, but just in human beings in general, is the fact that it's on demand. I want quick, easy access. I want to be able to access it from
online.
anywhere.
Yeah.
We live in an age of hyperconnectivity. Every device we own is got fast access to the internet. So people want this access. And that's why we're seeing so many of these emerging, harnessing those cultural shifts and trying to deliver a service that meets those expectations. And what we're seeing more of, for those of you who can't see this, but towards the top straight away, is Trustpilot. We're 5-star, excellent reviewed, and you're seeing this in a lot of these. I presume because they're startups.
These are quite new.
So credibility is important.
Yeah.
So they need to build credibility quickly. So they're using these third-party review systems. They look very traditional. Going back to Lemonade and this one. Look at the design it's very different from what we're used to seeing in the industry.
I think going back to one of your original questions about why don't I use Vitality?
Yeah.
In the past, it's been switching. It's the cost of switching, the time it takes, the effort it takes. But I can see in the examples we're giving here, and it's not just the insurance industry. It's also banking, which we'll come on to.
Talk about that next week, aren't we?
Yeah, but it's that. How long is it going to take? What hassle is it going to be? Can I be bothered to do it? But now, in this day and age, where actually a lot of these will not have some sort of contract that you're tied in for, that you can change very easily and very quickly, and it only takes you 4 minutes to sign up. I'm up for that.
Yeah.
And I think and this transparency, I think, is really important.
Yeah, and you're seeing it in so many industries. The energy OVO, is it?
Yeah,
very much usage
mobile
based.
Phones as well. So do you remember when you used to have a mobile phone contract? You
Oh.
used to try and get out the contract. They were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you have to pay us £120 to get out the contract early." And it still happens. The big boys are still doing it, but people's expectations now are, I don't want a contract. I want to go when I want to go. And there's lots of people who are going, okay, well, we'll offer you that. And it's the same across fintech, insurance. All those things.
Well, just going on to the mobile network. So O2 have just released a new campaign whereby you can actually choose. You go online and you use sliders to actually define exactly what type of contract you want, how much data you want, how long you want it to last, what your initial premium is.
Because it's always been very fixed packages, isn't it?
Whereas this, you change it. You do
completely customizable
to what you want.
Makes sense.
Well, how about, I don't never get the whole data thing, and I find it really irritating. I don't want a specific amount of data. I want unlimited data. That's what I want.
Listen up.
I want unlimited
phone
data.
providers and phone companies. Camilla wants unlimited
if
data.
If I'm on holiday, I will use the data because you can't, you go onto white.
I'm sure it's all that browsing of the mail online, one of your favourite haunts.
You don't know.
I've seen you across the office.
But that's my point. Like, we need to change that. And that's just big corporates taking more money.
But this is where marketing, this is what is so important about marketing. Individuals don't want to be seen as a big group. You don't want just a grouped package, that everyone else gets. You want to be seen as an individual. So like with O2 here, you want a package that suits you as an individual. And I think, that's what, not just in insurance, but we've got to get more used to, is that treating humans as individuals. I keep saying humans a lot on this one, but as individuals, and stop grouping them in such large groups that, and that's what we do with packages.
We are seeing that shift. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah. I think there's also artificial intelligence and how that's actually coming into the insurance industry in quite a strong way.
Yeah.
There is, and I've mentioned it on a previous podcast that some Oxford researchers reckon that by 2033, so they did this study in 2013, it could be there's a 99% probability, that insurance underwriters could be out of their jobs.
Yeah.
Because artificial intelligence could
doing
do
their
what
job.
they do.
Yeah.
With the speed it's moving now, it's each year the gains are huge, and it's growing faster and faster, and the uses are becoming more widespread. But when we talked about the doctors, and it's the same with underwriters, we're relying on an individual's knowledge, where actually artificial intelligence can process
Quicker, faster,
10,000 medical journals to start assessing a problem.
And it's the same with that lemonade example.
Yeah, exactly that. It's so wow, that's quite a startling fact. But what it may do, and rather than just be scaremongering, what it may do is mean it actually frees up these people, so underwriters, rather than dealing with the mundane sort of processing, to do those value add elements.
Yeah.
So maybe that's sort of rather than being detect and repair, to that kind of predict and prevent sort of mindset. So we've got all this data, we can actually help you avoid catastrophe rather than just being here in the event of catastrophe.
Yes.
So again, while it's not like you're going to lose your job, goodbye, underwriters don't exist, actually it might allow them that element to provide their skills and value add elsewhere in the business.
Yeah. Can we show the Aviva
Yeah.
dash cam ad? Because I think that's quite a nice...
Here we go.
So Aviva have done quite a few pieces. You've probably seen this on TV, this advert for their dash cam, which is part of their Drive app. So it's not a dash cam like lots of insurers offered once upon a time, where you get this big kit and you plug it in, and it's part of the app. And so you literally prop your mobile phone up on your dashboard, and it has a dash cam built in with it. Which then can feed back to Aviva. So this is their TV commercial that's been out recently. And what they've tried to do is they've tried to look at all the challenges of the customer. And by doing that, their adverts and all their campaign material kind of look for purpose behind how we can make that better for the customer.
So it's almost tackling...
tackling their issues and their pain points. If you give it a quick play.
Hopefully this will play. Here we go. Make sure we've got some volume, actually. Sorry. Oh, we've got lots of volume.
Yeah, that's going to blow our ears off.
Should have checked this before the podcast, but here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Otherwise, I think we just carry on talking, because we could be here forever.
Yes,
let's carry on.
But no, it's a really
this happens.
It's a good advert.
Because then the other one that's following that one
here we go.
Is
no, sorry, David, carry on.
Is the one where actually there is this chap being interrogated.
No,
it's not working. Is being interrogated by an insurer about the type of lock that he has on his doors, or wherever it is. And do people know that information?
No.
But we have all seen the forms. You get the form through, and the whole point was,
like
what's
trying
the
to catch you out.
B4673?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does
what
it
that
conform
is.
to UK standards?
And
it's like, I don't know.
If you get that box wrong, then your insurance can be invalid.
Yeah.
If you get robbed, if you get burgled, and they've come in through a window and you didn't claim that had a lock on it, or then that's it. Sorry, we can't help you. You don't get.
Yeah.
You don't get cover.
Do you know what? I like adverts and campaigns that address user issues and preconceptions. We've seen it done with Audi and Lidl in the past, with people saying their food was rubbish. And then, they're addressing concerns here that when you make a car claim that you've had an accident, that actually your story is questioned, like, well, is that real? And and sometimes, how do you explain it circumstances? I think that advert is about a horse running into the road,
with a knight on the back.
That's
of it,
obviously coming from a reenactment of something,
yeah.
And it's very good. And the other one is about that interrogation. So I like what did you say this is Aviva?
Yeah.
I like what Aviva are doing. They're tackling
Aviva.
some of these things head on, saying, look, we're not like that.
On your deck, there's a nice little quote from the guy from Aviva. That's it. So, talking about his campaign, a chap called Tom Daniel, who's retail and brand manager at Aviva, said it's clean, there's no puppets or dancing men. Ooh, that was a little dig. In stilettos, it's not trying to be distracting. It's saying we recognise customers, we put a lot of effort into understanding customers, and we will solve the problems we've helped create. And that's big. These industries have helped create these problems. So that was quite good that he mentioned that. We're not going to hide behind gimmicks. So it's actually tackling the issues and understanding the customers, but really understanding them, not playing lip service to it's we're customer centric.
But I think and I think that's the biggest thing that insurance companies have to become. They have to become data-driven, analytical, and ultimately leading on to actually better customer services, customer-focused, understanding their customers
Well, they just
better.
need to simplify.
Yeah.
It's very easy to become complex, and it's all about simplification for the customer, really.
I think it's an exciting industry to be in, really. I know,
massive time of
there was that
change.
preconceptions we talked about at the beginning, but there's so much change. There's so much opportunity for these companies to grab hold of the technology which is out there, which is available to, and use it to their advantage.
Exactly.
Whether that's chatbots, Internet of Things, drones. We haven't talked about drones, but
No.
that's huge. So
yeah, it's that one, isn't it?
yeah, like sending drones to inspect
Properties,
or if there's been big devastation, sending a drone first. So not only is that good for the insurance company and the brokers because the drone's going out and doing all the hard work, but
on screen for people who are listening, we've got a company called BetterView. And so it's exactly what Camilla's saying there. They use drones go out, but all that data and all those imagery is processed to artificial intelligence. It's sent through a computer. AI then processes it and looks for danger spots. So if it's a building, they call it pooling, where you've got water collecting on roofs, exposed wires, damaged guttering, damaged brickwork, and it's automatically recognising those using image recognition to then process that and start filing a report. So you can take preventative measure before you take out the insurance and etc. So again, that's a really good example of actually that's twofold technology. It's using drones to do the mobile sort of get up there and do the analysis, but actually then AI to do the deeper analysis and kind of come up with insights around your property and where the dangers may lie. So really good example, BetterView for the people who can't see that on the video. I want to show one thing, and I think this is what we've been used to seeing in kind of particularly B2B insurance, very similar, all merging into one, but a couple recently of designs kind of broken out from that. This one here, again, this company, for those of you who can't see the screen, are leading with a very big, moody sort of image with colouring and getting rid of all the text. So basically this flicks through to a number of different offerings, but there's nothing else down the page. I'm going to be honest, the rest of their website is going back into the same ilk, but at least on their homepage, they're trying to make a bit of an impact to stand out. So there was one example. And one of the real...
That was Towergate, by the way, for those who are listening.
Yep, Towergate. Sorry, I didn't say that, did I?
It's like an Avico kind of ad or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it flicks through, and because this is just a screenshot, it flicks through to different industries, but really powerful imagery, quite moody, but not trying to say too many words on the homepage, just getting people into what the key areas are. Absolutely. And the other one was a big player, and it's Hiscox. And this is part of a much wider campaign. And we're seeing some things here, Hiscox, there's a user score there of how they're rated, so really high user score, great credibility. But this is a huge campaign that they've done.
Campaign,
That's it, their Impossible campaign using quite gritty, real people, and I've got a couple more examples. But again, it doesn't look like your every other sort of B2B insurance company. And their campaign actually looks like this.
I think this campaign ran in the US a couple of years ago. And now it's hit the UK, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure on that,
But as you can see, it's just, again, gritty, real people, real problems that they're trying to address. And you can just see it. But what's nice, it's not just a campaign. You see it consistently carrying through onto their website, onto their social media. So it's really joined up. It's not just a few flyers or posters or billboards that have been put out there. So I just thought it was a really good example of a couple of companies who are trying, in the B2B sort of end of the market, trying to stand out and kind of look a bit different from their competitors.
Yeah.
So a couple of examples there. Guys, I think looking at the time, we've got to get to that place where we're starting to wrap up.
Yes.
Is there any closing comments anyone wants to add?
No, just mirroring what David said about it being quite an exciting time.
Yeah.
With innovation and technology for the insurance market, there's lots going on, and actually, that's great, and it's something to embrace and experiment. One very quick thing that I didn't mention is that Allianz, I think it's Allianz, have that garage. It's called the Garage. It's an office in Shoreditch in London, and they employ a couple of perfect. It's in Hoxton.
Was that Aviva?
It is Aviva, sorry, not Allianz. And they employ people that are not necessarily from an insurance background.
Okay.
So people like data scientists or game developers, and they have an innovation hub there, and they look literally, this is our problems within the insurance market, how would you overcome it, and think of new innovative ways to overcome some of these older issues and legacy issues, which I thought was really cool. And it was just a breath of fresh air and a different way to look at the market and, you know, bring some new blood into it and some different thoughts. I thought was really cool, and that's quite exciting for me. I get excited by things like that.
And that's the other thing we've learned from our work in the insurance industry is one of their biggest challenges is attracting young talent or retaining young talent, because they're more attracted to the new startups, the tech companies, or, you know, even finance is proving a more appealing industry. But again, I think this is a twofold sort of benefit then to Aviva, in the fact that, one, they can attract that talent, but two, new ideas, fresh outlooks and experimentation. So that's really cool. Where's that, did you say?
Shoreditch.
Shoreditch. Oh, quite a cool place to have it as well. I think that brings us to the end of, you know, I want to keep it on time. I'm going to finish on a very quick fire quiz.
Go on then.
Do we fancy this? And it's quick fire. Now, all it is I'm going to show you a series of logos, and I want you to tell me the company. It's first come, first served. If you guess first and you're right, you get the points. If you're wrong, it gets thrown over to your opponents. Are you ready for this? No looking on my screen.
Okay.
So, here we go. BDAchat quiz.
Aviva.
Oh, this is a shout out one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've got Monday brain, but it's Wednesday.
Let's have a look. Is it Aviva? Yes, it is.
You.
Okay, ready? So 1-0 to David.
Go on.
Gallagher.
I did it first.
Oof.
Yeah. Gallagher.
I'm going to shout really loudly.
So that's 1-1.
Don't look at the screen.
It's going to get slightly tougher.
I have to look through your head as well. That's Zurich.
It is.
Wrong.
Is it not?
So you've got a
No,
chance
it's not, is it?
Allianz.
Let's have a look.
It is. You're right.
That was fluke.
Okay, 2-1 to Camilla.
Do I get a prize?
Zurich.
Damn it. You crept in
If I just keep
There
saying
it
it.
And we've got 2 more left.
Compare the market.
Money Supermarket.
David's right. You're both obviously very close, same sort of ilk, but yes, so is that 3-1, David?
No, I got 2.
3-2.
3-2, all right.
You.
And the last one?
Hiscox.
So 3-0.
What do we get?
Let's just
Joint
make
prize?
Well, because it's a draw, there's no prizes today.
Oh.
That's lucky for you.
Yeah, so
Disappointing.
it will be a rollover week next week.
Can you
which
get
means-
some prizes in?
I'll get some prizes in. There'll be some party rings or something. So there we go. I think that brings us to the end of our BDA insurance podcast. So there we go. There's a number of challenges. The industry is changing fast. Consumer needs and wants are changing, and we're seeing this reflected in a lot of the new startups and some of the developing and evolving businesses out there. It's been great. I've been Rob Jarvis. He's been David Knoll. She's been Camilla Smith. And that's the end of our podcast. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Save. Well done, guys.
Yeah.
This went into this mode, which scares me.